Hey everyone, welcome back to All Booked Up. Let's keep reading about Despereaux in our book, The Tale of Despereaux. We left off on chapter 18, Confessions. Despereaux went, as Botticelli told him he must, to torment the new prisoner and take the red cloth from him. The man was sitting with his legs stretched out straight in front of him, chained to the floor. The red cloth was still draped over his shoulders. Despereaux squeezed through the bars and crept slowly over the damp, weeping stones of the cell floor. When he was close to the man, he said, "Ah, welcome, welcome. We are delighted to have you." The man lit a match and looked at Despereaux. Despereaux stared longingly into the light. "Go on," said the prisoner. He waved the hand in the direction of Despereaux, and the match went out. "You're nothing but a rat." "I am," said Despereaux. "Exactly that, a rat. Allow me to congratulate you on your very astute powers of observations." "What do you want, rat?" "What do I want? Nothing. Nothing for my sake. That is, I have come for you. I have come to keep you company here in the dark." He crawled closer to the man. "I don't need the company of a rat." "What about the solace of a sympathetic ear can provide?" "Do you need that?" "Huh? Would you like to confess your sins? To a rat? You are kidding, you are." "Come on," said Despereaux. "Close your eyes. Pretend that I am not a rat. Pretend that I am nothing but a voice in the darkness, a voice that cares." The prisoner closed his eyes. "All right," he said. "I'll tell you. But I'm telling you because there ain't no point in not telling you. No point in keeping secrets from a dirty little rat. I ain't in such a desperate way that I need to lie to a rat." The man cleared his throat. "I'm here for stealing 6 cows, 2 jerseys, and 4 Guernsey's. Cow theft, that's my crime." He opened his eyes and stared into the darkness. He laughed. He closed his eyes again. "But there's something else I done many years ago, another crime, and they don't even know of it." "Go on," said Despereaux softly. He crept closer. He allowed one paw to touch the magical red cloth. "I traded my girl, my own daughter, for this red tablecloth, and for a hen and a handful of cigarettes." "Tsk," said Despereaux. He was not alarmed to hear such a hideous thing. His parents, after all, had not much cared for him, and certainly, if there was any profit in it, they would have sold him. And then, too, Botticelli Ramarso, one lazy Sunday afternoon, had recited from memory all the confessions he had heard from prisoners. What humans were capable of came to as no surprise to Despereaux. "And then," said the man. "And then?" encouraged Despereaux. "And then I done the worst thing of all. I walked away from her, and she was crying and calling out for me, and I did not even look back. I did not. Oh, Lord, I kept walking." The prisoner cleared his throat. He sniffed. "Ah," said Despereaux, "yes, I see." But now he was standing on all 4 of his paws, were touching the red cloth. "Do you find comfort in this cloth that you sold your child for?" "It's warm," said the man. "Was it worth your child?" "I like the color of it." "Does the cloth remind you of what you have done wrong?" "It does," the prisoner sniffed. "It does." "Allow me to ease your burden," said Despereaux. He stood on his hind legs, bowed at the waist. "I will take this reminder of your sin from you," he said. The rat took hold of the tablecloth in his strong teeth and pulled it off the shoulders of the man. "Hey, see here, I want that back." But Despereaux, reader, was quick. He pulled the tablecloth through the bars of the cell, whoosh, like a magic trick in reverse. "Hey," shouted the prisoner, "bring that back, it's all I got." "Yes," said Despereaux, "that's exactly why I must have it." "You dirty rat," shouted the prisoner. "Yes," said Despereaux, "this is right, this is most accurate." He left the man and dragged the tablecloth back to his nest and considered it. What a disappointment it was! Looking at it, Despereaux knew that Botticelli was wrong. What Despereaux wanted, what he needed, was not the cloth, but the light that had shone behind it. He wanted to be filled, flooded, blinded again with light. And for that, reader, the rat knew he must go upstairs. Chapter 19, Light, Light Everywhere. Imagine, if you will, having spent the whole of your life in a dungeon. Imagine that late one spring day, you step out of the dark and into the world of bright windows and polished floors, winking copper pots and shining suits of armor, tapestries sewn in gold. Imagine, while you're imagining this, imagine this too. Imagine that at the same time the rat steps from the dungeon and into the castle, a mouse is being born upstairs, a mouse reader, who is destined to meet the light-bedazzled rat. But the meeting will occur much later on, and for now, the rat is nothing but happy, delighted, and amazed to find himself standing in so much light. "I," said Roscuro, spinning dizzily from one bright thing to the next, "I will never leave. No, never. I will never go back to the dungeon. Why would I? I will never torture another prisoner. It is here that I belong." The rat waltzed happily from room to room until he found himself at the door of the banquet hall. He looked inside and saw gathered there King Philip, Queen Rosemary, the Princess P, 20 noble people, a juggler, 4 minstrels, and all the king's men. The party reader was a sight to the rat's eyes. Roscuro had never seen happy people. He had only known the miserable ones. Gregory the jailer and those who consigned to his domain did not laugh or smile or clink glasses with the person sitting next to them. Roscuro was enchanted. Everything glittered. Everything. The gold spoons on the table and the jingle bells on the juggler's cap, the strings on the minstrel's guitars, and the crowns on the king's and the queen's head. And the little princess, how lovely she was, how much like light herself. Her gown was covered in sequins that winked and glimmered at the rat. And when she laughed, and she laughed often, everything around her seemed to glow brighter. "Oh, really," said Roscuro. "This is too extraordinary. This is too wonderful. I must tell Botticelli that he is wrong. Suffering is not the answer. Light is the answer." And he made his way to the banquet hall. He lifted his tail off the ground and held it at an angle and marched in time to the music the minstrels were playing on their guitars. The rat reader invited himself to the party. Chapter 20, A View from the Chandelier. There was, in the banquet hall, a most beautiful and ornate chandelier. The crystal that hung from it caught from the light of the candles on the tables and the light from the face of the laughing princess. They danced to the rhythm of the minstrel's music, swaying back and forth, twinkling and beckoning. What was better to view of all this glory and all this beauty? There was so much laughing and singing and juggling that no one noticed Roscuro crawl up a table leg and onto the table, and from there flung himself onto the lowest branch of the chandelier. Hanging by one paw, he swung back and forth, admiring the spectacle below him, the smells, the food, the sound of the music, and the light, the light, the light. Amazing, unbelievable. Roscuro smiled and shook his head. Unfortunately, a rat can hang from a chandelier for only so long before he is discovered. This would be true at even the loudest party. Reader, do you know who it was that spotted him? You're right. The sharp-eyed Princess P. "A rat!" she shouted. "A rat is hanging from the chandelier!" The party, as I had noted, was loud. The minstrels were strumming and singing. The people were laughing and eating. The man with the jingle cap was juggling and jingling. No one, in the midst of all this merriment, heard the P. No one, except for Roscuro. Rat! He had never before been aware of what an ugly word it was. Rat. In the middle of all this beauty, it immediately became clear that it was an extremely distasteful symbol. Rat. A curse, an insult, a word totally without light. And not until he heard it from the mouth of the princess did Roscuro realize that he did not like being a rat, and he did not want to be a rat. This revelation hit Roscuro with such force that it made him lose his grip on the chandelier. The rat reader fell, but alas, he fell right directly into the queen's bowl of soup. Oh my goodness, I wonder what's going to happen next.